Hey everybody, Scott Jansen here, back with another ACH, an Advanced Conversational Hypnosis student interview. Today we have the amazing Fritz Holden with us today. I've pulled Fritz onto this call today because she has just completed the third ACH training, only in about 6 or 7 months, which is pretty cool. And I want to sort of run everybody through what Fritz has learned, her sort of experience from the very first training to, the incredible stuff she's doing now with ACH and what she's doing with her clients. So first off, thank you for jumping on.
Thank you so much, Scott. It's amazing.
Awesome. Well, look, let's start from the beginning. Give everybody a bit of a background on you. And how did you get into the whole therapy, coaching, hypnosis stuff in the first place?
Yeah, so it was back in when COVID started, like 2020. I was kind of burnt out at my corporate job, and I was like, I wanted a way out. And I was kind of like, I needed a way out. So I started my personal development journey, and then I came through a hypnotherapy training program, and I was like, I think this is it, and went through it, and here we are.
Beautiful. So that was like the very first training that you did with the other personal development stuff. What sort of things were you learning?
It was mostly I've always been fascinated with the mind, the subconscious mind, particularly. My background is in nursing, so I've always been like into that stuff, and specifically the mind and the brain and how it works. And so I was kind of reading through books and all that, and then just throughout, just jumping back and forth through all that journey, I found the hypnotherapy course. So, and I was like, oh, I'd love to study this, and this could be my way out. So there we go.
I think hypnosis is such a peculiar thing. Like, what did you like most about it? Because it's such a weird thing to do. What really got your attention?
So interestingly, I was thinking about this the other day, because in nursing, we had to take a psychology course. Oh, really? And, we learned about Freud, Jung, and Erikson. Oh, you and did? So, excellent. So I was like, so those three, obviously they're big in the psychology world. And I was like, oh, like I was really drawn into Erikson. Like for some reason, out of the three, I was like, oh, Erikson is like into something. And so that's how I kind of came about it. And like, interestingly enough, like you find these things when you look back, right? And I remember learning about smoking in nursing, and one of the smoking, like very well studied effective smoking cessation modalities that are like alternative type things were hypnosis, and how effective it was. And I was always just fascinated by it. And then this came into my lap, and I was like, isn't this interesting and perfect?
Beautiful. So with the hypnotherapy training, that was more the traditional type training?
Right. Yes.
What was the outcome of all of that? Like, did you get a chance to work with clients? Did you get to work on yourself with other students and stuff like that?
Yeah, so within the training program, we did everything. So I actually first started it on myself as I was healing through the burnout, and then as I studied and got certified in it, then I started working with practice clients within the same program. And I did start getting, like, as soon as I got certified, I put my business online, and I did start getting clients as well.
Beautiful. Now you came in at a pretty cool time, because most people join the 100K and then do the ACH training, but you did the ACH training first. So what got your attention? What made you feel like I need to do something like ACH, being that it's so different than the traditional stuff?
Yeah, so as much as I loved my, like what I did, and I still, believe in it, my original hypnotherapy course, it was just getting way too long. Like it was getting too long, and it was taking up too much of my time. And so I was thinking of ways as to how I can still deliver really, really great results, because I was getting amazing results for my clients, but it didn't take as much time like on me, because I wanted to scale the business, and like just how I was doing things was a bit too time consuming. And then I don't know how I came into ACH, but it was kind of like, I think I found your Udemy course on conversational hypnosis. And I was like, well, this is interesting. This is really fascinating what you were teaching. And then I got interested in it. And then somehow I saw that you were doing a live in October. And then here we are. And just everything that you talked about like in Udemy, and just how when I signed up in ACH was like, well, this makes total sense for me. And this kind of just fit with how I personally like to coach and do therapy and work with clients.
Beautiful. So with the time consuming stuff, what was taking up the most amount of time? Was it like the prep work, the therapy, the emails afterwards? Like what was taking up the time?
All of the above. So I like to over prepare. Like I'm one of those people who like over prepare, like, right, and overthink. So, and I like tracked my time too. I was like, if this is taking me too long, and at one point I was tracking how long it was taking to do things. So I would like do prep and then do the actual session, and then do the recordings afterwards, and then like the follow-up, and then are you listening to your recordings, like that kind of thing. So it's like taking too much the time, and like I would spend 1 to 2 hours on prep because I was very specific with how I did my scripts. And then like the actual like therapy session itself was like, I don't know, my minimum was 2 hours.
Wow.
And it would go to like 2.5 hours because I was just like over deliver, be really thorough. And then plus the recording afterwards, took some time because I edited it, like made it like really sound nice, music and stuff, and then sending it, and then like all that just took so much time, and and sometimes I'd be like, oh, I don't even know if it worked.
That's pretty common. But when it comes to like the business side of things, you can see now, because you're at the other side of it, that the longer you take with clients, the less we can scale, because we've only got a certain amount of time per paying clients.
That's right.
So you joined the ACH, having done the Udemy thing. Let's look at the first training. What was I'll get more specific towards the third one. At the end of the first training you did, at the end of the 2 days, what were the realizations that you had? Seeing the demos and the stuff we talk about, the no prep, the no scripts and stuff like that. What was your takeaway?
The first training was a bit of a blur.
As always is.
Like it was a blur, not because it was like I didn't learn anything. It was just like it kind of like went over your head, right? It was like, because it was like, can it really be this simple? And you start doubting, and like it was amazing because the demos we did in October were all different, and they were like really mind-blowing, right? And then I had the opportunity to be the therapist then too.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
And like, so that was a cool experience. So I actually really highly enjoyed the experience. I learned a lot, and like I was hooked after that. But it was one of those things where I was like, oh, like when I was the therapist then with you help like coaching, I was like, oh, I can do this. But then that confidence kind of was like, shaken a little bit when you're trying to do it with clients.
Why do you think it gets overcomplicated? Like, why do you think we overcomplicate it? Because I hear that often people say, like, Scott, I've come from like a more traditional therapy background, then I jump into ACH, and you guys are doing in 10 minutes what it takes me to do in about 3 hours. Why do you think that sort of complicates in the mind? It's just because it's such a contrast, it's such a difference? Or
because I think when we learn it traditionally, it's very much like, these are all the steps, you got to follow all the steps. And to like, if you're someone who's very into, like, if your mind kind of is very into the structure, then it's difficult to move past that. And like luckily I haven't been in hypnotherapy that long that it's kind of easy to unlearn. But I think for most people they overcomplicate it, and I did initially because it's kind of like an ego too. I'm like, I can't believe it took me 3 hours and I can do it in 15 minutes. Like, all that time wasted, and like the 6 hours for one person now takes just 1 hour.
And look, that's the demo we did with you. You being the therapist, aside from me jumping in, that thing, and we unraveled a lot, took like 60 minutes. And that was with me interrupting every couple of minutes and making it longer. So, so at the end of the first one, we always say, go ahead and practice with the other students. Did you get a chance to practice it? How did that go?
Yeah, I did. And it was great. Like I pretty much practiced right away because I'm just that type of learner, right? I got to ride that momentum. And so, so I did right away. And I actually met a lot of lovely people who are still like my friends now, like we're very good friends, like after that. So it's cool to have that community aspect to it, and being able to practice. And the practice sessions were really good because everyone, is on the same page and you're all learning. And it's good to connect with them, and as well, and practice it, because you're learning, and then you can give each other feedback, and seeing just the results, even in practice sessions, like the amazing results that we get is amazing.
Yeah. For you, like seeing the demos of being a part of it, obviously when a client says, I want to quit smoking, or I have an anxiety, you and I both know that now is just rubbish. That's just their conclusion. Yeah. So when you've seen, let's say 6 demos in the first one, 6 demos in the second training, 6 probably, so 6, 12, 18 demos altogether, across the 3 different trainings that you've done. What are you starting to realize about what a client says compared to how deep, their shit really gets when it comes to solving the problem?
Yeah, that what they say is like useless.
Yeah.
And as you tell us, like what they say is completely like garbage, and ignore 95% of what they say, and really just focus on those unconscious moments. And that's what it is. And even I apply that to my life now. When someone talks to me about something, I'm like, yeah, sure.
You can see what I thought. You sort of see now, contrasting back, like, man, what was I prepping for? How can I prep for something? Because all I'm doing is prepping for what a client thinks that is. That's where the time waste is.
Yeah. And that's what I was the most drawn to with ACH, right? Because I did notice that with my clients, with like the traditional hypnotherapy training I did, and that modality, because they would come in with like your favorite money blocks.
As everyone says they have, no, that's not it.
Yeah, it's not it. And it has never been it. And like I've noticed that right at the beginning, and I was like, oh, this is stupid, like to think that that it's money blocks. It's really not money blocks. It's something completely deep. And if you just think it's money blocks, you haven't gone deep enough, and you're just gonna like keep
spinning
circling
around
on the same problem.
Doesn't matter how many sessions you do, you can do sessions on all the wrong things and you still end up with the same thing. Moving on to the second training, from what you remember, how would you contrast the first to the second training? Was it like the different demos you got to see, or did you start to understand it better? What was your take on it?
Yeah, so my second training was actually masters. So that was
true. Yes. So we applied different rules together. Blow you away.
So yes, that was a completely different experience, but it was good though, because I like practiced ACH right away, and actually had also paying clients like practicing ACH. So I kind of got to see both before I stepped into MAC. And like Mac just blew my mind. Like I think I'm talking to one of the other students, and we're still like kind of processing Mac from November until now.
Did it make ACH seem so much easier because you realize, man, there's a massive level above ACH?
Yes, it was kind of like at first, after being a zombie for like a week after masters, like, and as we process and things started to make sense, it kind of started getting a bit harder, like just a little bit, like for maybe the first few practice sessions, it started getting a little bit harder, because it's kind of like, oh, I'm starting to ride a different bike again. And so it was a little bit harder, and then like with time it got a lot easier.
Beautiful.
Like a lot easier.
Now, having done the third ACH training and contrasting to where you first started, what's the difference that you've noticed?
So it's really cool to notice the difference, because now that there's, months in between, and, getting the practice, processing everything, and everything clicking, the third training was interesting, because it's still very fascinating, and you're still learning something new with each and every demo that you do. But the level of understanding that I've gained has been like much deeper, and it makes sense. Like when I work with a client, or I have these aha moments, I'm like, that's what Scott meant. I get it now.
You've got to experience it. It's got to be caught in the moment. If you look at more The traditional trainings, they'll come, they'll say, come and do masters or something like that. Here's some more advanced scripts. I don't know what makes them advanced. Maybe they're harder to read or something like that, but you're still repeating the same thing that's wrong with the novice stuff, which is I've got a script for stop smoking, when you and me know that stop smoking is never the issue.
Yeah.
So for you, like, what do you think ACH solved for you as far as like your gaps in knowledge or working with clients? What are the biggest things it solved for you?
The gaps were just the gap of actually solving people's problems and being sure that you've actually helped them solve their problems, because they 100% tell you that. Because I mentioned a little bit earlier in some of the sessions I did, like previously before ACH, I was like, ugh, I don't know if it worked. They say they feel better, but I just don't know if it's because they listened to the recording and they feel better because they relax. But like the feedback that I get from clients now with doing ACH is just much more like indescribable. Like it's like astounding that that they're like, I just had a client recently where we had a session last week, and this week she updated me and she was like, yeah, so that I don't even remember what we worked on, but like I kind of feel better about my business now, and like I'm just doing the things that I didn't used to do, so and now I feel better and my sleep's better and then this is better, and I'm like,
perfect.
Cool.
So that's supposed to be. You just set the parameters and the mind connects all. And look at that. No prep, no scripts, no audios, no wondering am I listening to the audio. It must take a lot of pressure off you as well.
Oh yeah. I actually enjoy working with clients. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but like there would be that pressure, right? There would be like, oh my God, I gotta prep like this much and I have to make sure that I don't go over and and make sure that the recording is sent, like blah, blah, like make sure the internet is down, because if the internet's down and their eyes are closed, and then, like all those worries are like not there anymore. And it makes for such just a much more pleasant experience, like running a business and just working with clients. And for the clients themselves too, it's very casual, and it's very like they feel very heard and safe, and they get breakthroughs in a much quicker fashion.
How do you feel as the hypnotherapist, like having just an easier process to follow? Is your confidence gone up? Are you finding things a lot easier?
I feel like a Jedi. Like wave my wand or like a wizard. Like it's like my confidence has definitely gone up with time and practicing and seeing the progression of my clients and the results. Definitely much more confident, definitely less pressure, because like you say with ACH, right, we're just using principles instead of technique. So I don't have to worry about like what has to happen next, like what kind of thing do I have to do next, because you're just going with the flow, and really what it's based on what the client gives you, and really that's what it needs to be.
You don't have to talk as much either.
Oh yes, that's right, because before I would be like, at the beginning you're doing like the induction like it's like a lot of talking, then in between and at the end the recording, and talk for 20 minutes and then your voice gets sore. But now it's just like I say minimally.
I think the biggest takeaway, or from what people have told me so far, is like there's no induction, there's not even any hypnosis. Like it's just we're doing the therapy, and as a result of doing the therapy, the trance and hypnosis happens without you having to do anything. Was that sort of your take as well?
Yeah, I love that we're doing everything all at once, and I think that's why it's so fast. And at the beginning I was like, why is this so fast? like it's like sometimes, I mean, even recently today, like in 20 minutes, like the problem's gone, and I kind of doubted it. I was like, no way. Like,
you'll go through that.
No, like this is not happening.
What's crazy is like the fastest sessions you have are the ones that you won't understand, as in like, I don't know what I said to my client, I don't know what they said to me, I don't know what I did. They end up being the fastest sessions and the biggest breakthrough, because it's not you doing it, it's all the unconscious principles that we've taught you come out at the right time, and you just get all the thanks and the praise for it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, super cool. Like it's the best.
Yeah. So looking forward in the future, my last question, like, what are you most excited about as far as working with clients and progressing with this skill?
I can't wait to get even better at it
Mhm.
and have faster breakthroughs. Like right now, my sessions are like 90 minutes,
Yeah.
maximum 2 hours. Like, and that was my minimum before. Like my minimum was 2 hours, and like I'm not sure if anything happened.
Yeah.
But now, like 2 hours, like we're good. Like we're good.
A lot of stuff done in 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, so many things done. So like getting that even at, you know, like a shorter time period,
Mhm.
and really just, you know, MOSing it, like you say, right? And getting that shorter and having them just having faster breakthroughs, and yeah, and getting to share that with the
Yeah.
world is just, it's just amazing, because there's so many things you can do with it that regular hypnotherapy modalities don't even touch.
Yeah. And you can sort of look at it now and realize, that's why it can't be touched, because I don't need to learn how to do stop smoking. I don't need to learn
Mhm.
anxiety. I don't need to learn how to do pain control or money blocks, because that's not
That's
the
right.
fucking problem. I can use the
Right.
same principles regardless of the problem. And sometimes my client won't even know what the core problem is. And that doesn't matter either. As long as I apply the
Right.
principles, I do the testing, it's all sped up. It's a win-win
Right.
for everybody.
Yeah, and that's the best thing. They don't even need to know what
Yeah.
happened, because that was drilled into us, right? Like it was
Sure.
like your client has to understand what it really is. Like I had a session with the client and she was like, I don't know what happened. I just kind of breathed and burped for like 24 hours, but
Yep.
now I feel good.
Yeah. And look, it does get drilled into us. I get it with the whole traditional stuff, but you can see how that's a hindrance, because when
Yeah,
you
for
believe
sure.
in that stuff, you now start to steer the session towards those things.
Hmm.
One time out of a million, you might get it right. Every other time, you're
Right.
just guessing because your client's guessing, you're guessing. And then you wonder
Hmm.
why at the end of the session, the client says, hey, I don't feel any different. And you're thinking, shit, I've got to do this all again.
Yeah,
And repetition, even if you did 6 of the same sessions, repetition doesn't matter if you're doing all the wrong things. So it's
that's right.
pointless.
Hmm.
Well, look, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for joining us. That's awesome. I'm going to see you in the Facebook group. For anyone that's interested in talking to Fritz further about working with her, what's the type of client that you're looking to work with? That way we can leave your details below.
Sure. So I work with female coaches who want to grow and scale their business
Beautiful.
without any second guessing and sabotage.
Excellent. So I'm going to leave your details below, guys. Please go check out Fritz. She's a world of knowledge, just even that niche alone. So go check her out, and I'll see you in the Facebook group. Thank you for jumping on. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Excellent. We'll see you in the group. Thanks, Fritz.
Bye.